15 seconds to launch. Places, please. 5 seconds.
Adjust your MoJo.
You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Now.
At age, 60? He's just gonna break bad?
Radio with an attitude.
This system that we love is broken.
I know that.
Do not comply.
Hey, mother...
Welcome to another 2 hours of common sense.
That liberty and justice for all is a myth.
And erratic behavior.
You want to, but you can't. And when you do, you wish you didn't.
This is your Daily MoJo.
Seriously, I'm fairly certain we are living in a simulation. When you have irony this delicioso, Letitia James, the Attorney General up there in New York, Letitia James is now being called out, investigated. Have they dropped an indictment on her yet? I don't think they've. I don't think they've done so. That. But she is she is being investigated for mortgage crime, basically misleading statements in applications for her mortgages.
Whoops.
Now, if you remember, oopsies,
the same shit.
If you remember. Right? She was the one who went after Donald Trump, the current president at that time, candidate Trump, for president of these United States of ours, well, we still really haven't figured out what exactly it was that they say he did that was a crime. But, I mean, it was essentially overvaluing his properties.
Yeah, yeah.
So that he could, I mean, again, who amongst us hasn't done something along those lines? I mean, it's not, and usually it's not even your decision. It's like, well, the bank will say, well, to get this loan, we're going to have to, fudge the numbers here. We're going to move stuff around and blah, blah, blah. It's a money thing.
It's a money thing.
But we all knew that it was total crap when they went after him. They even had to extend the, what do you call it? The, not the law of averages. And methylene blue's working today, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what it is,
and you don't know
but
either.
I know
you don't
it was
know what
horse
it is
shit.
Either. Exactly. What are they? Statute of limitations, which
Law
is very
of
close to the law of averages.
No, it's not.
It is statute of limitations. What's the middle word in each one of those things?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So anyway, they are investigating Letitia James for pretty much. Now, is this the question here? Is this
retribution,
reciprocal, retributional persecution? And if it is that right to do? Isn't that petty?
It is, and it is okay, if you ask me.
Is it?
It's petty.
Where do we stop? Where do we stop?
I don't know. This woman, I wouldn't have stopped until I got her. You've got to think that a year and a half ago, she was going, I've got him. There was no way she was thinking, oh, shit.
I got it. I
guess I better look in my closet, too.
Yeah, they don't think about that.
Nope.
But and you know why? You know why they don't think about that is because they figure that
they didn't think he was going to get back in office.
No, they figure they've got I've got the system on my side.
Yeah,
and the system. That's what they constantly forget. The system uses you and spits you out. Jonathan Turley was on the Laura Ingraham show.
Well, obviously, the irony is perfectly crushing. This is a person who prosecuted Trump for everything short of ripping a label off a mattress. And among the charges that were brought in New York, in not just the civil but the criminal case, was making false or misleading statements to financial institutions. And one of these sections, Section 1014 of the federal code, is prosecuted. It took me me about 60 seconds of a search to find cases that the Department of Justice brought against people who falsely claimed that property was their principal residence in order to get loans. So this is well-tread areas for the Justice Department. As for James, if we apply the Letitia James standard that she created, there'd be little question here. This seems pretty straightforward. What the administration is saying is this was not her principal residence. In fact, as a New York elected official, she had to say that her principal residence was in New York. This was an out-of-state residence. But also, they claim that in some of these forms, she actually states that her father is her husband in order to...
Whoa! What?
Oh, hold on now. What is it with her people like her and Elon Omar marrying family members? Isn't that still illegal? Isn't that frowned upon?
Wow.
I mean, you start getting together. I mean, incest is best, relatively speaking. But you start getting together with the family members, and you got the kids with the arm growing out of their forehead.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, their eyes just a little too close together. I wonder. Makes you wonder what the advantage of her dad being her husband would be. I mean, obviously it was something. Assuming it was something financial. Ugh. Otherwise, yuck.
File as a married couple. So there's a lot of those questions.
Aha. To be fair, who hasn't suggested that their own father is their husband, right? I mean, seriously. Now, the tax code is so damn stupid and so twisted and so effed up that you have to do things like that to get a tax. I mean, that just shows you how absolutely effed up the entire system is. When in the opening of the Daily MoJo, when we hear the words, this system that we love so much is completely broken, that's not hyperbole.
Yeah.
Everything is broken. That's why Donald Trump and the rest of the crew up there in Washington are trying to fix things. It needs to be repaired. We still have the shot of being, and we still are, the greatest country in the world at this point, because we have the opportunity and the means by which we can fix everything. If these libtards would just stay the hell out of the way. That's the biggest problem. It's because they're becoming a real pain in the ass. To be quite frank, can I be frank with you?
Yeah.
They're just they are getting in the way of everything. I mean, look at the MS-13 gang member. Excuse me, the Maryland father, wrongly deported. When you hear those words, the Maryland father.
Everybody's saying those now.
You get the image of some dude standing there in the front lawn with a white picket fence, holding a couple of kids. His wife is there next to him, holding the groceries because she just got back from shopping and she's about to go in and vacuum and dust, clean the toilets, get dinner ready, and she better damn well have it by 5 o'clock because that's her job. But that's not what he is. I mean, it's word manipulation. Words matter, as we all know, and they manipulate the hell out of us.
Well, it's talking points they give them.
Yes, which, again, we were talking with the OG blah, blah, blah yesterday.
Yes.
Love the blah, blah, blah.
Love the... Oh, wait a minute.
It.
I've never said it for him. I have never said it for him on purpose.
What did I just say? The OG blah, blah, blah.
That's right, but I've never said it for him. I always said it for the blah, blah, blah online.
He's online.
Okay, but he's not
Why
the OG.
do you hate the OG blah, blah, blah?
I love the OG. I love the blah, blah,
Apparently you don't. I mean, things that you learn.
Somebody else used to say it before me.
Things that you learn about people that you thought you knew. It's just sad, really. But... we're talking about the talking points that they all repeat the same thing. Now, I was going to interject yesterday because I think some of that is, and I just didn't want to get him because he was on a roll. And when you get the blah, blah, blah on a roll, love the blah, blah, blah.
And I've never said it multiple times.
Wow. Is this thing on?
What is going on with you?
Hello,
today?
Cleveland. I could ask you the same thing. You missed it twice.
No, I didn't.
What's wrong with you? You're tired from your trip yesterday, aren't you?
It was a long trip.
You had to drive to somewhere in BF,
Abilene,
Texas.
West Texas. Yeah.
Same thing. Did you stop and think about the UFO flap that was there all those years ago when you were there?
The UFO flap.
Stephenville, the UFO.
I didn't go to Stephenville. I went to Abilene.
You drove through. Did you not?
No, hell no. Stephenville's way, way south of Abilene.
Okay.
Like 2 hours.
Well, yeah, that's where that's where the wreck was, but they towed it to Abilene.
That's correct.
Okay. So it wasn't that far. I mean, Stephenville was in the realm of possibilities. I mean, you don't care about UFOs enough to get all the way down there to
We talked about it before I
Stephenville?
left. Yes, we did. Yes. Okay.
All right, I'm going to cut you some slack on this.
Thank
one.
you.
But the fact that we hear all the same talking points through all of these outlets all of the time, because number one, they put out the talking points, but number two, the way that news is produced these days, because again, legacy media is dying on the vine, and again, ironically, the biggest moneymaker for a television station or a radio station, traditional, is the newscast. That's where they make the money.
Do they still have like teletype machines in news studios? Because how are they disseminating the information of Maryland father? Because everybody's using that term now.
Well, press release. The press release, yeah. Well, they
Is
don't
it just
have
a Democratic press release? Democrat press release?
They get it when they go to the secret meeting
I guess so.
with a secret squirrel. But they do have they don't have. I haven't been in a newsroom in a very long time, but you know, as you said, they used to have the teletype machines because they would.
Yeah.
They don't sound like that anymore, but you still understand what that sound means. Now they're just a little computer terminal, and you don't have to. You know, the paper industry cried a lot of tears when those teletype machines, because man, the paper and ink industry both took a big old hit because those things were cranking out paper all the time. Every time you heard that sound, anytime that meant paper was getting fed through that sucker. And the worst was when someone wouldn't change the ink, the ribbon.
Oh.
And you go and look, what the
We're getting
hell
an
does this
important
even
message
say?
and we can't even read it.
Who's supposed to change the ribbon on the teletype? Not me. That's Bob. He's not here today.
Boy, when that thing would fire up in the station up north, people would run to it.
You smelled it.
Yeah, well, they would run to it because, like,
Wasn't it going all the time?
No.
No.
Ours
See,
wasn't. Yeah.
In L.A., ours was. I had
well,
one
you're
of
in
those.
L.A. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I had one of those from a radio station. I had it for 10, 15 years. And finally, I just got rid. I should have hung on to it, but you know how heavy those things are?
Yeah, you had no idea we were going to be doing a radio show. That would have been awesome.
Right, I could have
fired that
had
sucker
it connected
up.
right here.
Do people still send messages that way anyways? Hell, I could have sent you one. Breaking news.
I don't even know what those were. What did those work on? Were they?
I don't know.
Was it a phone line?
Had to be. It had to be. The old POTS lines, remember?
What line was attached to teletype machines? You know
Hence
who
the
would
word
know.
tele.
Tele. Teletype machines used 1910 to about 1980 send and receive characters over telegraph lines.
Yeah, telephones.
Connect telephone lines. These lines use transmit characters being typed on one teletype to another, allowing for remote communication. And for those of you who aren't aware of what the hell they look, oh, there's one exactly like the one that I had. Hang on, I will show you what a teletype. This is exciting. If you're listening to the podcast, boy, are you just not getting half the. Look at that. I had one just like, didn't say Associated Press on the front, but I had one just like that. And that thing
was a huge brick, dude.
It about, I don't know, 18 inches wide, roughly square 18. And it was like a solid chunk of iron in there. I just tried to pick that.
That may look plastic,
heavy.
but it's not.
It ain't. I don't think it's up there, with the exception of that little clear window on the top. There wasn't a piece of plastic in that thing. It weighed 60, 70 pounds. I just remember thinking, boy, why am I keeping this? And now how much would it be worth? How much of this damn thing? Now I want to know. Now you've got me going down the road. Weight. Teletype machine weight. They weighed, holy shnikes. No wonder it was heavy. 130 pounds. No wonder why it was like getting rid of a person. The floor model was 40 inches high, 20 and a half inches wide, 18 and a half inches deep. I was pretty close on my measurements, wasn't I? 130 pounds. Some beach. That was, but that was the way you got all your news. Right there. That was the magic machine that brought you every little bit of information. And that would have been how why all of the talking points were the same, because you would get press releases or news releases, I guess, at the time from the Associated Press.
Yep.
Everybody had one of those, so they'd all read the same thing. And again, the other reason is because all of these news operations, for instance, out in L.A., to cut down on costs because it is expensive to produce a news program, they don't have control rooms anymore on site. The control rooms are in like Boulder, Colorado. And the control room in Boulder, Colorado will be directing the news in L.A. and Santa Fe and Albuquerque. So it cuts down on the number of people. You've got one crew, basically running the operation in a number of stations. Because labor expensive, especially union labor. So that's how it's easy for them. And also that's why, again, these messages sound the same, because they're all reading the same script being directed from the same control room, multiple stations across the country. That's part of the issue. So part of it is a cost savings. Part of it is that they want to duplicate the message as many times as they possibly can. Back to my original question, which was, is this reciprocal or retributional prosecution on Letitia James for what she did to Trump?
They will say it's not, but it is.
Part of it is
blatant. Yeah.
But the other thing is, this is another one of those media dog bones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here, Rusty.
Yep.
So they're busy chasing after that. And the Trump administration can continue getting stuff done that needs to be done. So it's a brilliant, again, as you stated not too long ago, Ron, the best thing that happened to Donald Trump and the country, for that matter, was him not winning
the 4
in
years
2020.
between the two terms.
That made all the difference in the world, because it was a 4-year training and research exercise on behalf of the Trump folk.
Well, and it let all the Democrats step on their own things.
They did a lot of ding stepping.
And that's what happened here. They went after him with all these bullshit things that they would never go after anybody else over, not thinking it would come back to bite them.
A lot of things will come back to bite you in the end, won't they?
Yeah.
If you want to get bitten on the end, that's probably not a good way to. If you'd like to bite someone on you know what? If you just want to take part in the program, use the hashtag #WhatILearnedToday on any of the social media platforms on which you're playing. And don't forget to tag us in those social media platforms at Real Brad Staggs, at Real Ron Phillips. In the Rumble chat room, I will say that there is a plethora of folk over there yammering. Damn it with Beaver. And she brings up a good point. So many watching, only 17 thumbs up. Smash the button, peeps.
Smash it.
Just gently tap it. Gently tap it. Just hit the like button. It helps us wherever you're watching, especially on Rumble. Are we on the YouTubes today?
No.
All right. I end up putting the show back up on there.
Yeah.
Later. But
that keeps us from getting hammered off of it for 24 hours for not being live when you hold up the Byrna.
when we touch the not an ungay.
Yeah.
Florida man in Alabama said, has Brad addressed the allegations that the Blue Origin female flight was staged? Aha, we're going to do that coming up in a second.
I've been seeing that too.
They have a legit, the conspiracy theorists out there have a legit question regarding it because something was going on. I don't know what.
That damn door is giving it away right now.
And I don't know what that was about, but I'm assuming there's an explanation for it. I just don't know at this point what that explanation is. And I also promise today to not, and I wasn't ignoring y'all in the Daily Mojo chat room yesterday. It's, look, I have to juggle a lot of balls. To get to where I am, you have to put your hands on a lot of balls and do this with them. And it's not easy.
Yep.
And not making excuses, I'm just giving you an explanation, like California Cowgirl and Fortunate Citizen and Lep. And Lep says, speaking of UFO crashes, are you boys going to Roswell for the festival over the 4th of July weekend? Working on it.
That's been
we'll
discussed.
See what happens.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Prior to that, though, we need to talk just a smidge today.
Yes,
about
please.
a brand new affiliate here. We're technically the affiliate, aren't we?
We are the affiliate. Yeah.
We are the affiliate.
This is the affiliate sponsor.
Patriots Relief is the website. The way you get there is Get MoJo CBD.
Man, everybody knows we used to have CBD products, and they were very good to us. They were great sellers. So we needed another one. CBD works. CBD really, really works.
I'll tell you right now that and we'll go into, again, as we delve deeper into the Patriots Relief folks, it's not all created the same. Much like gas station sushi is probably something you should avoid. I mean, unless you're just into, weird stuff and pain. But CBD is not all created equally. At Patriots Relief, they source it. They use the cleanest plants. They get they have a proprietary extraction method. And I want to tell you that and I have a question. I know this is a single-use packet.
Yeah.
But I always want to call it insensitive relief, but it is intensive relief rub, which you can find on the website. The intensive relief rub. You can find it in a container much like this one that I'm holding. I'm amazed.
Yeah, because you said it worked like a champ, right?
I'm always, because I'm one of those people who I'm so skeptical. You know why? Because you're told so many things in this world, and so little of it seems to be true anymore that, and you want to look, my neck starts hurting, and it's on my left side. It's the trapezius up here. And it just starts locking up. And I don't know if it's the way I'm sleeping. I don't know what I am doing. But man, and it always happens at the end of the day, like clockwork. And so the day before yesterday, I was looking through all of the products that Patriots Relief sent to me. And again, the website is getmojocbd.com.
And let me say real quick, Brad, since you gave the domain name, here's the deal for us, folks. If you use the URL getmojocbd.com, you will get 40% off your order. 40% off your order.
It's like they're giving it away.
Yep, and you can also use the promo code Daily Mojo if you don't go to that URL. Either way, yep.
But none of that matters if it doesn't work.
That's correct. I agree.
And
I agree.
The insensitive relief rub, I put some on it. It has emu oil in it, and I really at this point I don't care what it's got in it as long as it works. You can throw in monkey poo, and if it makes the pain go away, it's the best thing in the world. But there's no monkey poo in this. But my neck has not, like last night, it didn't hurt. And I was like, well, I'm just going to put a little bit more on just in case. But it has not done what it's been doing for weeks now. Weeks to the point that I was doing a weekly chiropractic, visit and adjustment. And I didn't make it this week. Did I make it? No, last week because I went on Thursday.
Yep.
And so I was really starting to feel it. And when I put this on and it was like gone, I was, it was like the angels coming out of the clouds above. If you want to try something that really works, go to getmojocbd.com. As an added benefit, we will be talking to the owner and the founder on
Friday.
Friday?
I'm hoping to get him on Friday. Yeah. Tim Roberts.
All right.
Yep.
Tim Roberts. No relation to Julia, right?
No. I'm going to do
no relation to Tiny?
No. I'm going to do.
And what's that doing for you? What are you taking and what's it doing for you?
Well, this is the first time I'm taking it this morning. This is called the broad spectrum. Broad spectrum. Pure. It's hard to read because it's dark in here.
And you can't see
pure
it.
hemp oil, 600 milligrams. Natural.
And what's that going to do for you?
Well, let's see. I had it up here just a second ago. There we go. Suggested use: gently shake, place one dropper under the tongue, allow it to absorb for 60 to 90 seconds.
And it does.
Uses entire plant for. Okay, we've done that already.
Mm-hmm.
Full spectrum tincture with less than 0.3% THC contains an array of cannabinoids such as cannabidol. Okay, all those other big words. No, it's hard to say those words.
But you're taking it because of what is it?
Just because I want to take it. Because from overall body health, CBD is good. It says it's the most potent CBD available.
I didn't know if there was something you were trying to get fixed or not. So, all right. So go to getmojocbd.com. That's the website. You can use the promo code DailyMojo. 40% off is pretty incredible. And if you've done any research at all into CBD oils and CBD products, you know that they are, I'm not going to say they're a panacea, but they're amazing. And when we talk, as I was saying, when we talk to, hopefully on Friday, talk to Tim Roberts, the proprietor at Patriots Relief, he's a big UFO guy.
He is.
So, and you can tell from the name, they're made right here in America by U.S. Americans. So you're supporting a small business and you are helping to create more jobs in America. So you're actually, you're on the Trump team, essentially. Now, for some of you that may, you know what? Let's leave Trump out of it.
Yeah.
Even though you are on the Trump team because you're trying to create jobs. But you are actually contributing to the economy in this country. You're doing something good for yourself, and it's a win-win. How you feeling, Ron?
So far, so good.
Change?
No,
right?
Not in. No.
Did your eye stop getting
No, it did not stop.
Amaze balls. Amaze balls. Remember the intensive relief rub. I'm telling you, this stuff works. Go to getmojocbd.com and always remember the promo code DailyMojo. 40% off. Getmojocbd.com.
Top of the hour, I flip on the radio for a blast of truth and power from the Daily Mojo. Oh.
Stupidity is not a competition.
So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
Unless you're a politician.
Get the news from Brad and Ron. It's the greatest show. I have a few surprises on the Daily Mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
They continue to fall in Washington as well at the Pentagon. One of Pete Hegseth's leading advisors, Dan Caldwell, on Monday was escorted from the Pentagon. Actually, it was yesterday. No, today's Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
he was escorted out of the Pentagon yesterday after being identified during an investigation into leaks at the Department of Defense, according to U.S. officials. This is what they told Reuters. He was placed on administrative leave. How stupid do you have to be up there leaking out to the press, especially in this environment, when you know they're going to be watching you like a hawk? I mean, they should be watched like a hawk anyway when you're at the Pentagon, especially if you are inclined toward being a leaker. But I know this name, Dan Caldwell, and I don't know why I know it. But he was placed on administrative leave for unauthorized disclosure, according to Reuters.
So he's the one dumping information out there, passing it to the
maybe
news.
How the hell did he get by the vetting process?
The same way anybody else gets through the vetting process. He probably just didn't start doing it till after he was hired, or whatever the case may be. But he apparently didn't like what was going on.
You think?
Yeah.
Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department names for 5 holy cannolis. 50 to 60,000 employees. They're supervisors of 777. About 23,000 military and civilian employees work in the Pentagon, as well as about 3,000 non-defense support personnel. The Department of Defense overall is looking to cut its budget by 5 to 8%. Well, if we get rid of Dan Caldwell, that's aiding that count. They say it could potentially affect 50 to 60,000 civilian employees. Good. I'm sorry. I don't want people to lose their jobs. It sucks when you do. But guess what? We can't afford you. We don't have the resources to pay these people.
Yeah.
We don't have the money. Do not have the money. We are way in debt. We've got to find ways to cut. That's what every other business, well, at least in this country, I was going to say in the world, but, in places like China, they just get more slaves. Here, you have to trim back you have to trim back your expenses. If you are not making, and by the way, the federal government doesn't make anything. The only way they bring money in is to steal it from us at gunpoint, by threat. If you do not pay us what we say you owe us, we will put you under the jail. Because the IRS does not F around. Which again goes back to the tariffs, which is a plan to get rid of the freaking federal income tax altogether now and stop the insanity. Why would anyone be opposed to that? Be a knucklehead? Speaking of knuckleheads, this one not everything is a damn conspiracy.
Yeah, but this is apparently.
But please, here's video of the all-female. Funny how suddenly there is a definition of a woman when they all go to space, right? So what's her name? Who was the Bud Light? Rory Calhoun? No, who was that?
Hot or shy?
What the hell's the Bud Light?
Oh, you're talking about Mulvaney?
Mulvaney. Why wasn't Mulvaney on the flight?
Yeah.
Yeah, old
Good
Dylan.
point.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, taking up space!
Ironically, they were taking up space. So, this is such a weird... Yep, Katy Perry.
When I gotcha.
You know how... Let me just objectify her for just a second. She's one of... If you look at her face, she is... she was cuter when she was younger and before the pie hole opened so much.
She's very pretty.
She's got one of those...
She is.
She's got that facial structure. It's not going to age well.
Maybe
My
not.
prediction.
Maybe not.
You just want to see her naked. What's wrong with you? She's young enough to be your neighbor. So, the conspiracy theory revolves around... I love these they might want to learn how to spell skeptic, but that's just me. Over at the Daily Mail, but maybe it's an English way of spelling. Skeptics have said the 11-minute expedition had the worst CGI any of these fake space agencies has produced. Okay. All right.
I have to tell you.
Now, the entire reason, what was it? Even further claiming that the entire mission was a satanic ritual led by Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos. Okie dokie.
That's amazing.
See, that's what gives conspiracy theorists a bad name.
Oh my God.
I mean, that is a hell of a view. How is she standing on the ceiling? Right? So here, the conspiracy theory to this whole thing is because there was, and it's not a, I don't even know how you describe the way they opened the door to the space capsule when it was on the ground. If you're not familiar, the door starts to open from the inside. I mean, obviously, I mean, I've never ridden in a space capsule before, but I would think that there is a way to open that door inside, and especially after the trouble that the early NASA missions had with astronauts trapped inside. There sure as hell, much like a freezer has to have an emergency, handle inside it, so you can get the hell out. I would imagine this capsule it's called the Shepard capsule, right? So the door starts to open, and then this chick runs up and goes, no, don't open it. So that Jeff Bezos can walk up with some to me,
tool.
It looked like a lug wrench to me.
Yeah.
So then he walks up and he starts to do his little magic thing. I don't know if that's the video we just watched. And there's Katie kissing the ground. But what was the point of this thing where they are? Let me see if I can find this. That's them. Hold on. No, that's Misokinesia. Hey, by the way, while we're there, Bang Bang Bar. The shirt I'm wearing today, again, this is day number something of non-repeat T-shirts. A Bang Bang Bar comes from the wonderful world of David Lynch and Twin Peaks.
The Bang Bang Bar.
David Lynch. You never watched Twin Peaks?
I did. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. What's his name? Kyle?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah.
Damn fine coffee. I'm sad that I will never get to work with David Lynch. I know he was a freak, but still, it would have been fun. Anyway, so the entire conspiracy is based around the fact that the door to the Shepard capsule opened from the inside prior to Jeff Bezos walking up with the magic lug wrench to open it.
Yeah.
Now, it's a good question. Why the hell why did they not let them open the door from the inside? Was this all just pageantry? For the record, I don't think it was faked.
I don't think it was faked either, but I think what they were trying to do was, quote unquote, make it look like the NASA shuttles, how they open the door from the outside when it gets back, or the SpaceX shuttles. But this one,
why?
I don't know.
That's the part. I think this is the
because here the door opens here in just a second.
She was actually on the chick there in the shot was actually standing over to the left of the.
Here she goes.
So maybe it'll happen. She was standing over to the left because when the door started to open, she rushes up to us. No, don't open it, don't open it. We're out here, we're naked, we're taking a shower or something. I mean, it was a weird move. They're obviously standing around waiting.
Waiting for the family members to get there, waiting for all the vehicles to show up.
So this is actually after this is the sanitized version of it. This is, okay, Jeff, go over with you. From that angle, did it not look like it looked like a pipe wrench?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all pageantry because that door opened before he did that. Yes.
Bezos is in good shape.
Yeah. Until he stumbles in a hole. You saw that? he stumbled in a hole walking around and fell to the ground.
He kind of fell. But I'm in good shape. How was he? Was he like 82?
Well, his wife is on that shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they married?
I don't know.
Yeah. In other words, does she get half of his stuff? But, so is it pageantry? Is it all theater? Probably.
Here, let me fake open this door.
Yeah, but I do. It's like, oh, look at that. Look, he opened it with the magic lug wrench. The Kármán line. The Kármán line, that's where space begins, correct?
Space begins, yeah.
At the Kármán line, which it's an imaginary line. Don't look up in the sky for it because it's not there. But it's an imaginary line, which if you cross that, which is exactly what they did, you are technically in space. And I say just, it's pretty damned incredible what they were able to do. This is pretty damned amazing technology, number one. The fact that we are now sending your average, I know, are they average? People with money into quote-unquote space for giggles, for shits and grins. That's amazing. I don't think there's any other country doing that. You're not doing that in Russia. Sure as hell ain't doing it in China.
Right.
Not doing it in North Korea. America, land of the free, home of the brave. Or at least trying to get back to that. But it's amazing that we can do this. Now, they did a big parabola. They did the vomit comet.
Correct.
Essentially without the airplane, which again is cool. And yesterday, Ron showed his jealousy for not being in the.
I did.
Ron, it's a big green monster, and
Yep.
I understand. And you know what it is that I was talking to Jeff Fisher yesterday about this very same thing. Back in the day, we, the radio people of planet Earth, were the ones granted all of these special opportunities. We were the ones that were called upon to go into space, to do stuff. But it's like, hey, you're on the radio. You'll talk about it after you get back, right? Yep.
Yeah, because you could do the Blue Angels flights and the Vomit Comet
Yes.
flights. Yeah, I remember.
You got to do all that stuff as
Yep.
a radio person. And now we're like, But this is not, nay, I say, is the Daily Mojo simply no, the Daily Mojo is an experience. We are influencers. We put the flu in influencers.
Well, we like to think we are.
I've influenced a few people.
Have you?
I don't know if that,
Positively,
another trip to the
negatively?
bathroom. I didn't, hang on a second. Let's just leave it at influenced.
Okay. All right.
We don't have to delineate whether it's a positive or a negative experience. We influence people. Oh, look, it's time for Phil Bell. That's a safety.
This is Phil Bell on the Daily Mojo with your morning update. Do you love dogs? I sure do. And even though my aunt's dogs have never convinced a beautiful woman that I'm a hot guy, I love dogs. But you know what the problem is? Liberals don't. At least not a group of liberals from Australia who did a study about the negative environmental impact of dogs. Now, this was a real head scratcher for me because I was thinking about this. Dogs are part of the environment. Humans are part of the environment. So how are dogs, man's best friend, somehow damaging the environment? And more importantly, why are liberals now deciding that dogs are evil? Look, you've got to remember something about the left. What they want to do more than anything else is control how you live, who you live with, and what you do while you live. They don't care about dogs any more than they care about you. This isn't to protect dogs, and this isn't to protect the environment. It is simply to control how you live. And while you might think, well, Phil, this is just absolutely insane, and it's coming from Australia of all places, let's not forget the track record that liberals have. First, they start with a little study, then they follow it up with another study, and pretty soon, everything that you care about is going to be heavily regulated if you can do it at all. So, if you love your pets, it's important that you take some time every day to help our fellow Americans understand the absolute insanity that is coming from the left and how they can defend against it. Because if not, if you let them set the stage and carry the day, they will, and your freedoms will be taken away in a heartbeat. So what I want you to do is leave a comment under the show. Let us know what you are doing to spread the message of freedom and liberty in the United States and making sure that our country stays great. What I also want you to do is download the Daily Mojo smartphone app and enable notifications. That way you'll be up to date on the latest craziness and good stuff coming out of Washington, D.C., and yes, even Australia, and you'll know how to share it with others. We'll see you down the line, and thanks for choosing the Daily Mojo.
Phil Bell's Morning Update is only on the Daily Mojo.com. Where political correctness comes to die. The Daily Mojo.
More good news from the world of podcasting. The Daily Mojo with Brad Staggs, that's me, and El Ronbo over there as well. We are now number 84 of the top 100
in the news
daily
section. Yep.
News set. Weren't we like number?
We were like 70 something before. Yeah.
Those are stupid anyway. You know how many episodes we have?
Oh, no. How many? It's got to be in the thousands, right?
Ish. 1,671 episodes.
Wow.
Are available of the When did we put a craps table in at the motel? I don't recall that. So the other thing that is being talked about with regard to the Blue Origin flight, they're making fun of Katy Perry, which she kind of stepped in that one. I'll tell you in a second. First, again, in my effort to not, people in the Daily Mojo chat room have been a little sad, guys. Saying to Pope Freebie the 38th, Ron makes me want to watch the movie Phone Booth. Forrest Whitaker's in that movie. I say. So Ron needs to remember not to come to class drunk.
Yeah.
Saying to Pope Freebie the 38th, do you know how many times we've had this? Do you know how many times we've had to go to the HR department? It's getting embarrassing. Pecan Pie 82, this job sucks. You getting paid? Shut your mouth. And measles, COVID, the flu. I don't know what that. It's a meme. It's a beauty pageant with measles, COVID, and the flu. Sometimes I don't. I'm just not smart enough to get the memes. Over in the Rumble chat room, see Chenzo 125. Good morning, everyone. Been a while since I've been here. Yes, it has. I recall your name, but it has been a while since you've been there. Welcome back. Back quarter dogs do less damage than liberals. Make sure and get your Dems spayed or neutered. Good point. Space Hippie on vacay. If I had the money, I would pay to go up in Blue Origin in a heartbeat. Ditto. I might get kicked off, though, because I would ask Jeffy why it's designed like a penis. That was the point I wanted to bring up. The picture that I put out there on the Twitters this morning of Blue Origin with all the crew standing in front of it.
6 women looking very satisfied and standing in front of a giant blank.
Does it not? I mean, seriously, is that not what it looks like?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, there's the picture. I mean, it looks like a giant penis behind them. And then with the added, and this is the picture I was telling you about, Ron. Look at her facial structure. I mean, that's it's not going to do well.
Yeah.
Lauren Sanchez looks like she would kick your ass. I don't know who that is, but boy, does she have some attitude. Kind of like it, right? I mean, It's like, hey. Again, we're assuming these are all factory originals. Who is this? Who's the short chick?
Let's see. I'll find out for you.
You don't know?
Oh, I don't.
It's not that important. Gail King right there, again, looking, I mean, she's got some attitude going on. I like that. And then what's her name over here on the far right? So I don't know who 3 of them are.
So
but
it was
again,
Katy Perry, journalist Gail King, Lauren Sanchez, former NASA scientist Alicia Bowe, civil rights activist Amanda Wynn, and movie
Gonna guess that's
producer
her?
Carrie Ann Flynn.
Beats the hell out of me, but
Yeah.
they're all standing in front of a giant penis. But again, because they've
all been there before.
No sense.
You think? They've all been there before.
Space or with a giant penis?
Standing in front of a giant penis.
Thank you.
Sure.
Genzo 125, amazing about those women astronauts, but could they make a sandwich while in space? That's an excellent question. I think everyone leaves that out of the equation, and I'm not really sure why they do, because why else did they get to go up?
Somebody
Just
showed
a dude.
close-up scratch on the the blue. What is it called? Blue.
Are you You are drunk, aren't you?
No. What's
There's
it called?
something horribly wrong with you this
New
morning.
Horizon. New Horizon. The shuttle. The capsule.
The Shepherd was the capsule.
New Shepard. Yeah. They showed a
Shepard.
close-up scratch on it and said, "See." Even in space.
Someone's going to have to pay for that.
Yeah, even in space.
Doc's Clock Tower. Did Brad go back to TMB February 2013? It's the earliest show I've found. Oh. That would be the Morning Blaze.
Yes.
February. That was, a different animal. Dr. Free Range Pisner. After reading the Mother Jones article about dogs, I couldn't help but wonder if the author was Muslim. Islam has a real problem with dogs. Do they? I wasn't aware. Do they know how to walk the dog? As they do in Korea? A little salt, a little Tabasco.
Mm-hmm.
And just a dude, Real Brad Staggs, can we just acknowledge the fact and humor in that Jeff Bezos sent a bunch of women in a penis-shaped rocket, and on that penis-shaped rocket sent just the tip, entered a little bit of space. It's a simulation. We are in a simulation. Was that not weird yesterday, the fact that blah, blah, blah.
Love the blah, blah, blah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Who is a self-actualizing physicist, one of the smartest people I know. Love having conversations with him and just shooting. He goes, because I talked to him afterward. He said, yeah, I wasn't sure where we were going. I said, I didn't know either. Because I'd sent him, I said, let's talk about Epstein, whatever. And we never did get to Epstein because we got, started talking about the moon and whether or not the moon is hollow. And that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, can you imagine, if I dug up my dad and said, what do you think about the moon being? What are you, nuts? What are you, nuts? I don't know when my dad turned into an old Jewish guy. What are you, nuts? Get back, put me back in the ground. But the fact that someone like Robert Labella, again, a self-actualizing physicist, no joke, says there could be something to that. That's weird. Stop and think. That's weird that we even give, because are you sure? Would you bet your life, Ron Phillips, that the moon is not hollow?
No.
Nor would I. Because there are just too many weird things about it. And since we know that we are being lied to from pretty much every direction, why do we trust what NASA says? Why do we trust all these other companies like the Chinese? Yeah, because the Chinese wouldn't lie to us, right? And we've had it proven to. And again, we're taking the word of a company, NASA, essentially, that and the same company that erased the original tapes of the manned moon mission, and also threw away the plans to get to them. That one still is like, why did you throw away the plans? It makes no sense. But that's why why there's a question today. Also, who else went up in the Blue Origin? What was it? 6 months ago, a year ago, whenever it was. Shatner.
Yeah.
And two things about Shatner. Number one, he says Paramount has called him, reached out to him about bringing Kirk back for something. I don't know. He did not. He didn't get real specific.
Dude's in his 90s.
93.
Wow.
And it may be that they called him, hey, can you come in and do some motion capture so that you can
we
live
can
on,
continue to use your likeness. Yeah.
Well, like James Earl Jones did with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Which, all right, cool. But he also mentioned that Paramount Plus, and I wasn't aware of this, and I watched I went through all the episodes of Star Trek, the original series on Paramount Plus, watched them all. And I didn't notice this, but according to Shatner, they have garbled the intro because he says where no man has gone before.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't noticed, and I did not go back to check, but would that surprise you? Because it wouldn't me.
Well, even as early as The Next Generation, they had changed it to where no one has gone before. Yeah.
Which, okay, whatever. But I don't know if they intentionally, if they garbled it or not. I would be interested if anybody is out there. You have Paramount Plus and you want to just shoot it with your phone and send it to us. Let us know. And I did not realize this in Star Trek Picard. They at one point said that Kirk's body is in stasis at the Daystrom Institute. I didn't know that. So in fact, they could bring Kirk back. Wouldn't that be wild?
That would be wild.
I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Kirk was, Shatner is old. Sadly, Von P. Drake Jr., older, 106 years old. He was the oldest survivor of the Pearl Harbor attack. And he died April 7th in Lexington, Kentucky.
Wow.
Put a picture, because we were talking about
Pearl Harbor was 45?
41.
41. Which would have made him probably born in 20 or 21, maybe 22.
He was born... Well, he was born 106 years ago. You do the math.
Yeah.
That'd be 1919.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, 106. There is Von P. Drake Jr. I think this is a photograph. Let me show you this. This is the explosion at the Naval Air Station Ford Island during the attack. Right here. That doesn't look real, does it? It's a photograph, though.
Wow.
That's what got it. And you want to talk about lies and such? Have you been to Pearl Harbor?
I have not. I have not even been to Hawaii.
It's oddly, it's very quiet when you go to the Pearl Harbor Memorial. Everybody's very somber, as it should be. You got the oil bubbling up from the Arizona, just a drop at a time. It's been doing that ever since the ship went down. But it's very quiet. You get a sense of, and you look around and you take it all in, what happened on that day. But, there's the controversy over whether or not we knew that the Japanese were coming, that we knew it, and FDR allowed it to happen to allow us to get into World War II. Which, again, war is good for business. And would it be surprising if that's what happened? Because I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. And there was enough, we had enough advanced knowledge. And part of the reason that Japan attacked us, which they never teach about in school, the fact that we cut off their fuel supply lines in another part of the world. There's a lot more to the World War II Pearl Harbor story than we were ever taught in school. They probably don't teach anything about it now. 2,390 American service members and civilians were killed. More than 20 naval vessels, including 8 battleships, over 300 American airplanes either destroyed or damaged in the attack. But Von P. Drake Jr. from Kentucky, again, the believed to be the oldest survivor of the December 7th, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, dead at the age of 106. Pretty amazing. Rest in peace, sir. The tariffs, a big deal, obviously, because, again, the media, the legacy media has whipped everybody up into a big old frenzy. Tariffs bad. Remember the dude, the journalist who asked Caroline Levitt, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have. I don't know about you, but I've paid a tariff. Can you imagine if somebody asked that of Corinne Jean-Pierre?
She wouldn't even know what he was talking about.
What do you mean?
Let me flip through my binder to see if I've ever paid a tariff here.
You miss her yet?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm
Not even just a little bit.
No, I'm absolutely positive.
I mean, there was so much there to like. She was entertaining. Caroline Levitt is just smart as a whip. Not really sure where that came from. Smart as a whip. But cute. You know how old she is? She was born in 1997?
Oh, no kidding.
Right?
What is she,
She
late
was
20s?
4 years old.
97?
27.
Yeah, 27.
She was born 4 years before 9/11.
Yeah.
She was 4 years old when those planes hit the trade centers in New York City.
She's 10 years younger than my oldest daughter.
I remember she's married to a guy who is our age.
Yeah.
Daddy issues? I don't know. Maybe not.
She's extraordinarily smart. I mean,
very smart.
She can speak off the cuff like nobody I've ever seen.
And she will take you out at the knees.
Yep.
Again, something that Corinne Jean-Pierre couldn't even imagine. There is, where's that Peter Ducey thing? Where did I lay that Peter Ducey thing?
Over there.
I stuck it somewhere. I'll try to find that. Ducey is asking Corinne Jean-Pierre about when's the administration going to tone down the rhetoric about violence, et cetera. And this was right after the second attack, the second attempted assassination on Donald Trump. And Corinne Jean-Pierre's like, I can't even believe you asked that question. Well, this administration has been very, and just launches into just nonsensical blah, blah, blah. Much like the response that Katy Perry gave when asked. I forgot I had this one. I gotta say, because this is just delicioso. This is what Katy Perry said after being asked, hey, what was really so cool about going up there into the space.
Herself into a deeper hole of cringe with her post-flight interview.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is
what is the Hoffman process?
I don't know. I heard her say.
Is that about like a colon cleanse?
Yeah.
I don't know what the Hoffman process is, but
it's up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey, and then you're feeling the love when you come down, for sure, and you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
The Hoffman process, founded in 1967, is a week-long residential and personal growth retreat that helps participants identify negative behaviors and moods.
I don't think it stuck with her.
I don't think so.
It doesn't sound like
She
it stuck
seems
with her,
like
but-
that kind of person, though. That's why Russell Brand, if I'm not mistaken, she was married to Russell Brand.
Yeah, she was.
That's why he was like, got to go.
Yeah.
And he looked,
When
he's the
Russell
one,
Brand,
when
yes.
he is not the crazy one in the relationship.
Right. There is an issue there. Just saying. There's some weird stuff happening too with Gene Hackman. They released body cam video.
Okay.
We will get into that. And it's sad, but your iPhone price could go up. Like a lot.
Yeah.
You know why? Because again, we don't make anything in this. But that's trying to be fixed. But that's a bad thing, apparently. That's what Janet Yellen said. Well, that and more coming up on the Daily Mojo.
If you're offended, you're listening wrong. The Daily Mojo.
It is the Daily Mojo. Sorry, I was just looking. We were talking about the Associated Press and the press services. The Trump White House is now axing the wire service spot from the coverage pool, which of course means, Ron, go ahead and explain what the axing the wire service spot
I
from
don't
the
know.
coverage pool.
Is that? I thought they did that with the Associated Press, but then got told to put them back in.
Well, that is the Associated Press.
That's what I thought.
Instead of restoring access to the Associated Press newswire as required by a federal judge.
Yeah.
The Trump administration is removing the wire position in the Daily Press Corps rotation altogether. So, in other words, their classification, because I think that they are the disseminating force or the service within the press pool. So they work, like let's say the Daily Wire goes there and they are there just for the Daily Wire.
Yeah.
The Associated Press is there
to disseminate
shares
information.
They're gathering all of the things that they gather. They gather the fruits and the nuts, and then they go back and they disperse the fruits and the nuts to the individual stations or other entities. And the White House is just getting rid of that because they kind of had a unique position. Again, the Associated Press is a conglomeration of a bunch of different traditional news services. It's a nonprofit, I believe, much like the Robert Bosch Foundation, which is a weird setup. But it's a nonprofit, and it is funded by all or a slew of other news services. And because it is unique in that sense, it has a unique position or is qualified in a unique category within the press pool. So what they've done is the White House has just said, well, we're eliminating that category in the press pool. So
is that how they sidestepped being told they had to bring them back in? Yeah.
Yep. And the reason that they got rid of them or kicked them out in the first place or banned them, whatever you want to call it, is because they refused to use the name Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
The question is it a fact that the United States...
They refused to use the term Gulf of America.
Yes, thank you. And I'm just so used to using it, and I don't care.
I don't
you can
care
call it
either.
the Gulf of Sand. But the issue was it was officially renamed, not necessarily permanently, but it was one of those. It was a press bone. They, the Trump administration threw it out there, so the press would go after that, and all these wackadoo leftists would go after that and be chewing on that thing while they're getting stuff done over in the other room. I mean, it was a distraction, but the AP refused to say Gulf of America. They kept calling it the Gulf, which is technically not the name of this body of water. So if, as a news service, your job is to gather up facts, right? To gather facts and to disseminate those, not to gather up opinions unless you're reporting that, if you were reporting something that is an opinion as an opinion, that's one thing. But to refuse to acknowledge the fact that it is the Gulf of America, it has been officially named such by the United States of America. Aren't you trying to ignore facts? Does that not go against your stated principle?
Yes.
Your stated goal? I mean, well, you're off in the weeds on that one. Am I? I mean, again, the purpose of the news is to tell us the facts of a story. I mean, hopefully that's what they do, is they tell us the facts of a situation. You can make up your own mind. You can choose your own opinion as to how you respond to those facts. But if a building burned down downtown, their job is to say the building at 123 Main Street was burned to the ground. Several theories, according to sources, say that it was an arsonist who burned it to the others are saying that it was, a lightning strike. Currently, there is no official cause of the fire. But they're out there going, according to one source, Trump burned the thing down. And they can cite, unnamed sources or confidential sources. I mean, there is no argument that they are anti-Trump.
Correct.
Is there? If you've got two brain cells to rub together, they're anti-Trump, as most legacy media is. And so if they're not going to do their job of gathering the facts and presenting the facts to the public, then why are we letting them? Why are we letting an opinion creating entity in there? Is that still freedom? And I agree we shouldn't be stifling the press, but with the AP, does the White House have the right to say, no, we don't want them in here anymore? It's a good debate discussion. Have I not said on more than one occasion, Ron, that Janet Yellen does not sound smart to me?
Yeah.
When she talks, she just doesn't sound smart.
To me, she sounds like she's being fed information rather than understanding and knowing the information.
And it may just be, and this may be my bias coming out, but she just doesn't sound intelligent. Might just be her accent. I don't know. But this is her on, what is this, MSNBC, whatever the hell it is, talking about the bringing jobs back to the United States, the Trump administration's stated goal. And here's what she had to say.
Trying to understand what's going on, and I'm curious if you have what you tell them.
Well, I have had a few meetings, and the truth is, I honestly don't know what to tell them, because these are huge. I've said self-inflicted wound to me. President Trump is taking a sledgehammer, not only that he's pounding our allies with this, but he's pounding the U.S. economy with this sledgehammer. And I don't understand the rationale for the tariffs.
Okay. Federal Reserve Chairman, right?
Former Treasury Secretary.
Former.
Yes.
Treasury Secretary, sorry. You don't understand the rationale? She can't be serious, right? I mean, when she says that because if you're the Secretary of the Treasury, I mean, I understand the rationale for the tariffs, which is saying something, because I'm not an economist. I ain't that smart when it comes to money, but I get it. I get the concept. Put tariffs on, and there are examples in history of it working in this country prior to the implementation of the federal income tax on individuals. Tariffs funded government functions. I mean, it's not that, to me, it's about, okay, that's kind of it in and out. All right, well, that makes sense. Can we do that again? Because I'd like that, because if we can get rid of the income tax, I'm good with that. Aren't you good with that, Ron?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So how can she not understand the rationale? It sounds like a bullshit line to me, but that's just me.
Most economists would say if what you're trying to do is to reduce the trade deficit, imposing tariffs is not going to be successful and is not the way to go about doing that. The best approach there would be greater fiscal discipline, which we're not likely to see. And perhaps it's to bring...
Whoa, greater fiscal... what does that mean? Does that mean not spending...
It means that the government hasn't had greater fiscal discipline in 100 years.
In other words, the government keeps pissing away our hard-earned tax
Yes.
dollars.
Yeah.
Is that what she's saying? All right. Didn't she have some say in that when she was...
You would think.
Treasury Secretary? I mean, didn't she have some influence over that? And it didn't seem like she had... She's just... not, to me, she doesn't seem very credible. And I'm sure there are defenders of Janet Yellen. Oh, she's brilliant. She's... okay. She doesn't come across as brilliant to me.
Back American manufacturing, but I really think that's a pipe dream and not something that is likely to be accomplished. And we could even raise questions about whether or not, in a broad-based way, that's a desirable goal.
Interesting verbiage. Bringing back manufacturing jobs to the United States is a pipe dream, which is based on, for those of you not familiar with the origin of the term pipe dream, it referred to people, you were suggesting that they were high on opium when they presented a concept or an idea or a thought that you thought was outlandish. Are you smoking opium? That is where pipe dream came from.
But why would she consider it a pipe dream to bring manufacturing back to this country? I don't understand.
Well, if what she's trying to say is that labor costs and labor unions have driven the price of labor so high that you couldn't afford to make your unnecessary plastic object in Missouri.
Yeah.
That, we're never going to be able to compete on a worldwide stage making unnecessary plastic objects because unions have driven the cost of labor way too high.
I think a lot of them...
That's what she means.
Yeah, I
then maybe she's right.
I think a lot of them see that Trump's doing all of this to try to get everything moved back to the U.S. and get everything set, only to have it reverted in a follow-up administration.
You think that? Say that again. Do you think that they are?
I think that they see him. I think they see him pushing for all of this, calling it, worthless, a pipe dream, because they anticipate that a Democrat administration is just going to revert everything back. Yeah, I mean, but
why would the Democrats not want to have jobs here?
They don't want to protect women here. They don't want to protect law-abiding citizens here.
I don't disagree with you. And it just seems
they
to
are
me
not
like
America first. That's the point.
They don't seem to be.
Yeah.
They want this one world government, and again, going back to the Star Trek principles that I've learned over the course of my decades on the planet, it would be lovely to live in the Star Trek universe here on planet Earth, where we're all just one big happy family on the Earth, and we're all getting along, we're all trading with each other, and life is good because, we source some of our goods from planet Mergron out there in the Bufla star system. But here on Earth, we're one entity. We're the United Federation of Planets. We've got other allies and on a global or a universal scale, I guess. That is not likely to happen anytime soon because human beings can't seem to get out of their own way when it comes to wars and conflicts here on terra firma.
That's because we let crazy take over.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of it. But so in the meantime, how do we get manufacturing back to the United States? How do we employ more Americans? I mean, I was thinking about the telephone, just the lowly telephone, the dial telephone. earlier today and wondering, where were those? Where did all those things get made? Go back to the 30s, 40s. Did I find it? Was it Indiana? I think it was either Indiana or Missouri that I discovered. That's where the telephones were made. Bell telephones.
Bells, yeah.
That they were, made here in this country, and they were made well. Remember old telephones?
Hell yeah,
Man,
some of them weighed as much as that teletype machine.
I mean, you could literally pound nails with an old telephone.
Yeah, just the receiver. Yes.
They were solid.
Solid.
I mean, solid. So we made good stuff. We made televisions in this country. NVIDIA makes, great computer chips in this country. Now, I don't pretend to understand exactly, because they had a good day and a bad day yesterday because of some of the chips they're making are like so good that the government has said you can't send those to China. At least that's the way I read it. So, we make really, and we have the ability to make good stuff here in the United States. Somewhere along the line, and I think a big chunk of it, or a big part of the reason that we don't make stuff here in this country anymore is because of the labor costs. Because labor unions when you're trying to pay McDonald's employees, $20 an hour, and can you just please for once explain to me why the effing milkshake machine at McDonald's cannot continually work for more than a day at a time?
I don't think anybody has that answer, Brad.
You're getting paid $20 an hour. Fix the damn machine. I drove through yesterday because I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a filet of fish and a milkshake because that's what I want. And I filet of fish and a vanilla milkshake. Sorry, our milkshake machine is broken still. I canceled the whole damn thing and I left. I was like, you know what? That was God telling me I don't need to be intaking that vanilla milkshake because it's not good for you. But I wanted it because I wanted immediate gratification. I wanted immediate satisfaction. I wanted it then.
You like vanilla milkshakes, huh?
I do like vanilla.
I like them too. Misty's like vanilla. It's so vanilla. I'm like, of course.
Flavors.
It is the finest of the flavors. Come on.
But we can't make stuff. Hell, we can't even keep the freaking machine that makes milkshakes at McDonald's working. And we're supposed to. I mean, we don't make furniture. Remember, was it North or South? I always get the Carolinas confused. Which one made furniture? South?
Oh, I don't remember.
A lot of furniture. I bet we don't make anything because it costs you damn much money in this country to make stuff. iPhones, they say, are going to if the situation continues, if we had to make iPhones in this country, they would be super duper expensive. Like how expensive? Like I'll tell you in a second. Did you agree with me on the Janet Yellen not just seeming real smart?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, she does not.
I heard that Apple chartered 5 full planes of iPhones to get them over here before the tariffs went into effect.
You want to see what happens when I hold this up right now? You know what happens?
Hopefully nothing.
Nothing, because we're not on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Now, if you are seeing this on YouTube, that means we didn't do it live on YouTube. We did it. We Memorexed it. And then we put it on YouTube. But this is the Byrna Launcher. This is the less lethal alternative to shooting somebody with and giving them lead poisoning. If you are unfamiliar with the Byrna Launcher, the one thing you need to know above all else is the website, protectmymojo.com. That is your gateway to Pantell Less Lethal Protection. They are the official dealer of Byrna Technologies. And we have yet another special. These launch little balls. Little balls that will hurt, because let me tell you that when these little balls get launched out of this, let's say it's a weapon, it's not. Is it a gun?
I would call it a weapon. I wouldn't call it a firearm or a gun. Yeah.
Well, it's not a firearm. It's a weapon. It is it's a gun. It fires
it's
little
shaped
balls.
like a gun. Yeah.
It is shaped like a gun. And it has a magazine like a gun, but there's these little balls that can be plastic. They can be filled with, they come filled with like pepper spray or mace. You're going to ruin somebody's day if they're coming at you, a bad guy coming at you, you pop them with one of these or two of these or however many it takes, up to 5. It's going to A, stop them, and B, make them think twice about coming at you again. Powered by these CO2 cartridges. And so the combination of these gas cartridges and the little round balls that it launches at you or at the bad guy, this is a way that you can stop the trouble, stop the threat from coming at you, give you time to get away. And you don't have to be concerned about, launching a lead missile at them and planting them in the ground. If you have that mindset, totally understand. You end up having to make somebody assume room temperature for attacking you, and you got a whole other separate world of issues to deal with if that is your mindset. When you go to protectmymojo.com right now and use the promo code DailyMojo to purchase a Byrna Launcher, is it today only or just this week?
Just today.
What is
Nope, it's just today.
Today.
Yep.
It's your lucky day because they will throw in a 10-pack of these CO2 cartridges, either 8 gram or the 12 gram. And the different models of the Byrna Launcher there at protectmymojo.com, there are some intricacies to it in that they have different stopping power, essentially, different forces, whether it is the power of the CO2 cartridge. And you can find more about that. You can ask Ross any questions that you want to because his phone number is on our website over at thedailymojo.com. Call him. Utilize the resource. Call Ross. Ask him any question that you have. He's not going to hard sell you. Don't worry about that. You call him, you talk to him, use the promo code DailyMojo. You will get how much off, Ron, first of all?
I believe it's 10%. Yeah.
10% off the purchase of the launcher and the free 10-pack of these CO2 cartridges. It's a great way, if you have a college student, if you have a little lady, if you are a little lady, and you want to find a way, if you're not comfortable for whatever reason carrying a lead firing pistol, revolver, whatever, this is a great alternative for your self-protection. It really is. And these, telling you, just watch some videos on YouTube of the Byrna Launcher. You will see how badass these things are. It's a great alternative to, and a less lethal option. And I know we got, I want to pump them full of, you want to pump full, go. Bad guy coming at you, take him down. That's the beauty of America. Different opinions, different ways of doing things. All to the same goal, stopping the threat. That's what it's all about at protectmymojo.com. Go there today, buy a Byrna Launcher. You'll get this free 10-pack of the CO2 cartridges. And again, go to our website, thedailymojo.com, get Ross's phone number. Is it up on the screen?
It is, yeah.
Right there, yeah. Look at that. Just like a phone number. Call Ross, ask questions. Get your questions answered. Decide whether you want to buy one today or tomorrow. I'd buy it today, personally. That's just me. ProtectMyMojo.com.
Radio.
Ooh, yeah.
With
It's Brad, the man with the plan.
an attitude.
Wednesday's here, let the fun expand. Pop one's up, put your feet on lock. We're vibing down, let the clock tick tock. Ha!
The Daily Mojo.
Kind of get you going, doesn't it? Peekapoo, McDonald's shouldn't have bought their milkshake machine from cheap-ass milkshake machines of Szechuan Incorporated. Right. How is it? It's like when the McDonald's in Nashville, around the corner from where I lived, they ran out of Diet Coke all the time. How do you run out of Diet Coke?
Yeah, because it's just the syrup. I mean,
if you are a McDonald's manager and you run out of Diet Coke, you suck as a McDonald's manager. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know there were conventions going to be in. You know what? I'm betting at whatever convention it was in. Unless you had like a rogue surprise visit from the Good Sam Club of America with 80,000 members, just decided one day to come through town and wiped you out of Diet Coke and didn't announce it to anybody before they were coming to town. You have no excuse for not having the proper stock of stuff at your McDonald's. If you disagree with me, call us here at the Daily Mojo. Call us. Peekapoo says, can kicking one media organization out of the room while a plethora of other media organizations are still there really be considered suppressing the press? And you can't, but that's just it. Can you single out an organ, which is why they did what they did. They went by the letter of the law, and there are different services. So again, the AP service is not the same as like the Washington Examiner. The Washington Examiner goes there for the Washington Examiner. The Associated Press is there as a collective.
Yeah.
Serves a different function. Now, I'm sure these rules and these lists were created years and years ago. So all they're doing is going back, and they're much like what Joe Biden did back in 2020, pulling that law, that regulation out of his butt. That it's how they went after him for Ukraine. Remember that? It was some weird old regulation that Joe Biden, who'd been there since, the 1800s, remembers. Oh, hey, why don't we use this? Some archaic old technicality. That's why they went after him. Why haven't, if Donald Trump was such a huge danger to democracy, why have they not gone after him again? Why have they not? I mean, if he was the existential threat to all of us in this country, why have the Democrats not impeached him again? Why haven't they gone after him in any
they can't impeach him
substantial way?
As long as if they're not in charge of the House, they can't impeach him.
But my point is, if he was that, it's rhetorical because we know that he's not that danger to democracy.
They would say it was all.
They would, but they don't have a leg to stand on. They didn't have a leg to stand on then.
Mm-mm.
They had enough Republicans who really weren't These Republicans and one, but it's the Democrats who are trying to get that the MS-13, the Maryland father.
Do you know there are two Democrats at least that are going to go visit him in El Salvador? Are you kidding me?
They have to get Congress to create, it's called a CODEL, so it makes it official so they can use resources. But it's the nuttiest. I mean, they're defending this MS-13 gang member. And the Supreme Court, by the way, they're going, well, the Supreme Court said they had to bring... No, the Supreme Court didn't say they had to bring him back. They said that they had to... Was the word facilitate? Basically, if he was coming back, the administration had to, make sure that the system worked correctly to get him back. Didn't say they had to go get him.
Even the president of El Salvador, sitting in the Oval Office, said, Why would I try to smuggle a MS-13 gang member back into the U.S.? That's dumb as hell.
Now, yeah, but that was likely a deal reached between the two of them. Look, if they say bring him back,
yep.
Deals are always going to happen, but it's crazy. It is crazy what the leftists have decided they're going to defend. By the way, what happened to Ukraine? What happened?
They're off the radar because we're not giving them any more money.
Right. It's just so damn weird.
And
Lady
what happened
Cougar
to the peace
Jackal-
talks? Where are they at?
That's a good question too. I would imagine they're going on, kind of with the temperature turned down a little, so there's not so the press isn't being used. Lady Cougar Jackal, lazy employees. Period. Same reason the bathrooms are always closed at Speedway convenience stores. As a former employee, we had to clean them every hour. Most of my trainers cleaned them at the beginning of the shift and put an out of order sign on the door. Take a lesson from Buc-ee's. Have you seen how much Buc-ee's managers make?
Yeah.
Have you seen
the general manager will make $250,000 a year. They put the sign. The sign is sitting outside the doors. Here's how much you can make working here.
Is that a general or a regional manager?
Nope, general.
Really?
Yep.
So you can make quarter of
$250,000. Yep.
You have to hit your
assistant
sales
managers,
goals.
your department managers all make better than $125,000. It's just it's ludicrous money, but we looked it up because we stopped at Buc-ee's twice on our trip, not yesterday, but this weekend. Buc-ee's makes what did they say? I want to say it's $500,000 a day.
That doesn't, according to Indeed, it's not that much. But I agree. There was a sign because that's the way I remembered it. There was a sign sitting a little stand. Buc-ee's careers, general manager. They say $1.25 on the Buc-ee's site, but it was
it says 117,000. See, on average, the store can see 11,700 cars per day, potentially bringing in $500,000 or more per day.
Cha-ching!
No kidding, dude. when we stopped there on the way back through, it was so full that it was tough to walk around in there. It reminded me of a Black Friday in a department store.
I know it's I love Buc-ee's.
Ludicrous, and they don't even allow 18-wheelers in their parking lot.
Nope.
They are not.
It is a well-oiled machine, and their brisket sandwiches to die for. Got expensive, but what didn't? iPhone's about to get real expensive. Ron was mentioning the buttload of iPhones that were brought in from India last month in an effort to sidestep or to avoid the tariffs. $2 billion worth of iPhones were shipped to the United States in March, all-time high. They stepped up production in India, and good grief, they chartered cargo flights to ferry 600 tons of iPhones to ensure sufficient inventory. 600 tons. That's a lot. The iPhone could, if it was made in the United States of America, again, the cost would go up a lot. Would the quality go down, or will we make an excellent iPhone? Would the quality be as high if we made it here? I say we. If they made it here as opposed to making it where they do in India and or China.
I think it could be because it's a quality thing. It's a quality control issue.
Yes. Now, they don't. Here you'd have, I guess, union labor.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on where you made it, right?
Yeah.
Right to work states. But, you got people, you've got to take breaks. In China, no breaks.
Yeah.
In China, you keep working until you die.
Or
then
jump out the window.
They had to put those nets outside the window in China. So people who were trying to commit Harry Carey would not land on the pavement. The estimated cost of an iPhone made in the United States could cost 25% more than it does now. Typical price right now was $1,200. They said it could be in the neighborhood of $3,500 for an iPhone.
Oh, snap. Wow.
3,000. That's about as much as you paid for the, what was it, the thingy, the VR?
Oh, the VR headset? No, I paid $4,000.
What was that called?
Yeah.
Oh.
Apple Vision Pro.
How fast did you get buyer's remorse on that?
About a day and a half. I bought it on a Friday and returned it on a Monday. The following
They give
Monday.
you any hassle?
They did not. All I had to do was pack it up and send it back. As soon as they got it, the refund showed up.
I wonder if
I wasn't the only one sending back my Apple Vision Pros, though. I can promise you that. Look, it was a phenomenal product. It's phenomenal. But I couldn't quantify the use of it.
Right. Like, what does it do?
For $4,000, yeah.
According to the subreddit on Vision Pros, Apple Vision Pro return rate appears low, it says. This is a year ago. Next week, we'll see the YouTube videos titled Why I Rebought the Apple Vision Pro After Returning It.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it. Don't get me wrong. I thought about buying it again. But the problem is that they're not making enough changes to it. And that was the initial version. And it was well built. You know, you and I have had VR headsets.
Yep.
Plastic and, stuff like that. And those are pretty reasonably built. But these Apple Vision Pros were a well-built piece of work.
Was it heavy?
Heavy. It was about like the MetaQuest Pros, the dark one. So, because I've got one of those, so it's about the same weight, but you had to distribute it. The strap that they show that comes with it, the one they show in all the videos, that one does not hold the damn thing up. It just doesn't. It was stretchy like a sock. So it didn't work. Yeah, but the one that they also sent the head strap, the one that goes over the top of your head that you can then pull up. That was with it. I immediately shifted to that because damn it.
Yeah.
The thing is heavy.
And that's not necessarily a good thing because
it's made out of the same aluminum material that their laptops are made out of, and you know how well built those are.
Yeah. No, I have no problem with the way Apple stuff is made. It is solid, and I still will sing the praises of like this Mac Studio that I'm using right now.
Yeah.
This thing, I may have to reboot it every 2 weeks.
I haven't. I've got my Mac Studio that I'm running has been on and running for about a year now. Never had to reboot it.
You don't do really heavy duty stuff like I do. I'm designing spaceships.
Okay.
Do you?
Not that one of us is the IT guy and the other one's not, but okay.
Really? When are you going to get into IT?
Yeah. 40-year career of it. No, I'm okay. Maybe I've rebooted it once, especially with updates, but it's just a workhorse. I haven't had any trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally agree. They just, to me, they work better than PCs. Now PCs have their own place.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean, I'm running 2 PCs and 2 Macs on this desk as we speak.
I will say that this PC that operates most of our video end of stuff has been a workhorse, but it freezes up. It freezes up, what, at least once a week.
You're talking about the video?
Now, I don't know if I don't know if that's a function of the PC or the software, but
I think that's,
it is buggy.
Hardware. Yeah.
It is buggy. Buggier than an Apple. But so they do, I mean, they make good stuff. But I wonder, back to the original question, how many of these Vision Pros were returned? According to the Grokster, exact number of Apple Vision Pro returns isn't publicly released. Estimates suggest, ancient astronaut theorists suggest, about 1% of Vision Pro owners return their headsets. Really? That's all? That's surprising. Some of these returns are due to users struggling with the setup or operation of the device, according to Gizmodo. Other reasons for returns including, holy shit, I spent how much on what? And the wife going, you spent how much on what? And got your ass chewed and had to take it back. Limited app options, which is still a problem, isn't it? Because what do you do with it?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I couldn't come up with something that was worth the $4,000.
It's cool.
I didn't buy it to play games on. That's my thing. Do they have games for it? Yeah, they have some fun stuff that you can do with it. Now, the MetaQuest, you pay, $300-$400 for one. Okay, I can use that to play games on. But I wasn't buying my Apple Vision Pro to play games on, and I thought maybe there were other functionality that I could use. There just wasn't yet. Been. Yeah.
Maybe, that may be the answer. Maybe that, if you're going to, if you're a gamer, which is a huge industry, but you don't see a lot of gamers using them either. Now, is it going to go away? Because they haven't done much to it, have they?
They haven't done much to it. They did come out with an update recently for it, but I haven't even heard of any talk about the Apple Vision Pro 2. So I don't know. I don't know if they're working on another one or not.
I don't either. There's a lot of tech out there that's really cool. We've got a couple more examples that we will talk about next on the Daily Mojo.
Every day at the top of the hour, I flip on the radio for a blast of truth and power from the Daily Mojo. Give me the mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
Give me the mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
Give me the mojo.
The Daily Mojo.
Give me the mojo.
Radio with an attitude.
Let's see, Sainted Pope Freebie the 38th. If you shoot them with a Byrna Launcher, you'll have more time to talk to them about Jesus. Before the eyes shut at the end there. Deb Treadway says, I love Bucky's bathrooms.
They're clean. They're clean, dude.
Ron loves hanging out in the Bucky's bathrooms. Look at how many of the people in the Zoom room enjoy hanging out in the Bucky's bathrooms.
I bet all of them do. I love Bucky. What? You've never been to a Bucky's lap? Damn it. You don't know what you're missing, buddy.
Is he real? I don't think he's real.
Whiskey, you been to a Bucky's bathroom? Oh.
He's in one right now.
Yeah. He's in his truck right now.
All right. Where the hell is Deuce 5?
I don't know. We've been kind of asking ourselves that same question recently.
Deuce 5, if you're listening, get in touch. Call home. Phone home.
Yeah.
And again,
let us know you're okay, buddy. We miss you.
I'm not sending him a text saying, are you still alive?
Yeah, don't.
Not doing it.
Not a good plan.
That is not a good thing for me. You don't ever want to get one. If you get a text like that from me, run fast and far. Passionate citizen over in the Daily Mojo chat room. Sainted Pope, 15 seconds out. Oh, this is a good one. Hang on a minute. You got to see this meme because it's worth the seeing. But I have to put it over here. Slight process. But again, the fact that we can do this at all is damned amazing. There it is. Worth the wait. 15 seconds after saying she don't need no man. Who's going to open your damn pickle jars?
Yep.
What is it about pickle jars? They're tough. We did not mention yet, and I want to do this before we get into the tech segment because...
Everybody else can get on. Last exit to Brooklyn, last chance, turn around. Get hot or go home. KFWB, here's a freeway warning bulletin. The Golden State Freeway, southbound at the Glendale Freeway. Now, you listening? You aren't listening. The Golden State Freeway, southbound at the Glendale Freeway interchange, is congested due to a truck on fire. LAPD says the traffic backed up to Alameda Street in Burbank, and motorists are advised to use an
60 years ago.
Alternate route if you
there was and they're still cleaning that fire fire truck crash up to today, right? It's funny.
My one. About 9 o'clock this morning. Al Pickens reminds you to.
So, if you are unfamiliar with him there, you might be.
Well, I'm going to try the center. Animal songs.
Animal songs for $300 to the pot. According to the lyrics of this 1967 hit song by a famous singing duo, Orangutans are skeptical.
Orangutans, Wink.
Oh. Did I say orange? I didn't. No, I didn't. I did not say that. I'm going to start all over.
Orangutans.
I usually read these over before we start the show. According to the lyrics of this 1967...
Wink Martindale.
Yep.
How old was he? How old was the Winkster?
96?
I thought he was 93.
Maybe. 93, yeah. He's in
dead.
his 90s. Yeah, he passed away yesterday. Wink
He
Martindale.
assumed room
Wink.
temperature. Wink, the Winkster. And because there's always a connection and there is no relation, because I did ask Kathy Martindale, who I worked with.
Back on Video PM with Brad Staggs in for Gary Beatty. He'll be back. And Kathy
No, he won't. He's dead, too.
Martindale.
Kathy Martindale, I'll tell you what, we've got a video coming up here that is actually from the soundtrack of a movie.
Next of Kin.
Next of Kin.
Patrick Swayze. He was in that. Larry Gatlin wasn't in that, was he?
No, I don't think so, but
Sang
I
on the
think I think Patrick and Larry.
Look at that tie.
Was that a bolo? Looks like it. Kind of like
Oh, yeah, baby. The Nashville Network. You see those big tape machines back there?
Yeah.
1-inch tape machines. Was that a 2-inch? That may have been a 2-inch tape machine. That was it was January 10th, 1991.
It was that Wink's wife. Is that who that is?
Negatory, no relation.
No relation.
Kathy Martindale,
Okay.
no relation to Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale dead. Brad's hair dead.
Oh, Brad, that's a good-looking dude over there, man. What happened?
You.
Time is a bitch.
I looked like that just before I met Ron, and it just...
Man, I can't wait for the tech segment.
Really? You want tech? Is that really what... How bad do you want it?
Well, as long as it's the tech we did this morning, I can't wait for it. That's what I want.
remember what was the tech we did this morning?
Oh, the voice.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. Nope. No.
Are you
kidding?
ever going to
is
do that?
Nowhere. I don't know.
Do
I
it.
might.
You might just throw a little bit in there.
I might. I might not.
Okay.
We are... Oh, hang on a sec, because technically this falls under...
Yes, science, bitch!
We are this close to Terminator. This is a review by your boy Marcus. This is amazeballs.
Tech reviews are getting kind of weird, huh? We're reviewing a bionic hand today.
Bionic hands.
So this thing right here is called the Psionic Ability Hand. And it is an incredibly cool, incredibly niche, and incredibly helpful piece of technology. It is specifically a carbon fiber and metal motorized articulating hand that attaches to prosthetics for people who have lost their hand or don't have a hand to regain as much functionality as possible.
How cool is that?
It
That
has
is
its own
cool.
app. It's incredibly durable, it's waterproof, and it's cheap enough to be fully covered by Medicare. So you might remember...
Wow.
Wow. We are so... Think about the advances in technology that we have seen just in the last 5 years. I mean, the things that we've been able to accomplish, and are we making them here? I guess some things
we get made here, yeah. Boston
They're
Dynamics.
conceptualized. Yeah, they're conceptual. And Boston Dynamics, do they make like all their stuff, all the pieces and parts to the Boston Dynamic dog, are they made here in this country?
That's a good question.
Is it
'cause
assembled?
You
or
got
is
the
it-
Tesla bot. You've got Figure 1, Figure 2 now. And Boston Dynamics, those are what I call the big three. But I don't know if all the parts are made in the U.S.
But
That's
look,
interesting.
remember what Elon Musk was criticized for, and wrongly so, when they said, "Well, he's just a car, assembler."
Yeah,
he gets all apart, and it's like, "Hey, blow me, pal!" And showed the
76%, which
of
is
all of his,
greater
like
than
the
any
Cybertruck.
other automobile. Yep.
Right. And people still hate him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because they're tards. But the Cybertruck sourced in this country, the majority of the Cybertruck made in this country. The more I see those things, the more I like them.
Yeah.
This is what got me. This is from Protoclone. This dropped 6 days ago. This is like Westworld.
Yes.
Look at if you're listening to the podcast, do yourself a favor, go back and watch this segment on Rumble or at thedailymojo.com, because the articulation of this robot, it's a bipedal humanoid robot that doesn't look like a robot necessarily. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, in that it doesn't have like really skinny waist. It has all of the parts and pieces, and in a form that do you see the
biceps moving? Yeah.
Not the biceps, but
the pec muscles,
pectorals moving. They've got all of the innards arranged in such a way that it follows the form of except he's got no junk down there, which is a little disturbing. But how does he make little baby robots?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the form factor looks very humanoid. I mean, you've got all the muscle groups there. That looks amazing. We are so freaking close to Westworld. You think we'll see Westworld before we die? Depends on whether or not
I
you get hit
doubt
by
it.
a train.
Yeah, I doubt it.
If we live to be as old as Wing Martindale I want to get his name right because he deserves it. Von P. Drake Jr., 106, last oldest survivor of the attack on Pearl Harbor. If we live, and thank you for your service, sir, rest in peace. But if we live that long, we have a shot at, as long as we don't, blow ourselves up with a nuke, which is always, or get libtarded.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same thing. But we have a shot at seeing Westworld become a reality. I noticed that this robot is being hung by wires from above, so I don't know if it walks or not. But I mean, he looks pretty close to being walking aroundable, right?
But yeah, that's the closest I've seen to the Westworld style.
That is really, truly amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, the things we as human beings are capable of is astounding. It really is. And that's a good thing. We've got to find a way to comb out the stupid. And I'm not saying kill them. Can we just send them to Canada?
What do you mean it's last call?
Which is worse, killing them or sending them to Canada? I don't know. That right there is 2 hours of audio deliciousness known as the Daily Mojo for today, Wednesday, hump day. The 16th day of April, the year of our Lord, 2025. Man, time be a-flying. Find out if anybody learned a damn thing during the course of the program. Start over in the X, formerly known as Twitter. Peekapool, that hand you're talking about sounds like almost 60-year-old technology. Please refer to former astronaut Steve Austin. Thank you. Right, we've seen that documentary.
The $6 million man.
Who was actually, the real $6 million man was the dad of a friend of mine. That crash was out at Edwards Air Force Base.
Oh, wow.
There's always a connection. Doc's Clock Tower, for anyone who needs to send Brad a text. His ex, Jenny, left him with the phone number 8675. Don't give my phone number out. That's crazy. Shy Boy in Iowa, unless you're going to send pictures. Good ones. Shy Boy in Iowa, you can admit you bought it for your adult viewing pleasure, Ron. That's what you were hoping for, isn't it? Is that you put on the Vision Pro and be like, whoa, those look real. When are they going to have touch-o-vision?
Yeah.
That's coming. It is. This is a Tickled Squirrel. Katy Perry. So many unnecessary words. Right?
She wasn't
Poor thing.
prepared
She's
with her
out-
speech. There's no question.
She's out there she's just trying to piss off Daddy. She's finding new ways to piss off Daddy. Deb Treadway over in the Daily Mojo chat room. Look at that feathered hair, Bradley. Yup. Saint and Pope Freebie the 38th. I do wonder how lesbian open pickle jars. I mean, making all those sandwiches and no pickle. You bring up a very good point, my friend. Very, very good point. Over in the Rumble chat room, Michaela's mom. That MFer is not real.
Not
right.
real.
E1 Guru, what I learned today, women in space. Robots going to kill us. Some stuff in between. And Missy 13, sending Bardo naked pics. Really?
Yeah, get on that.
Right on. Ron looks relaxed. Remember, we the people want to stand together, otherwise those hang separately. 6 Temper Trennis, resist you. Good night, Parsons.
Wherever you are, have a good day.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.